everyone, and welcome to Pelie Cemetery. This is the Methodist church here that I'm pointing the camera at. Here's where I parked. There is no clear spot to pull off and park, so I just decided to park over there. And I'm going to show you somebody famous who was buried here. Famous baseball player in the early 1900s. Whether you knew him or not, I'm sure you've heard of the name before. It's pretty cool how he's buried in Tuscarawas County of all places, about an hour from my home. To anyone who's viewing this video or subscribed who is a baseball fan, I'm sure you've heard of Cy Young. Well, he was born here in Tuscarawas County. It's a beautiful county in southern Tuscarawas. There's a lot of Amish. I just saw a buggy coming up this road on Route 258. The bottom of his grave, I don't know if you can read it real well, but it says Cy Young pitched 874 Major League Baseball games. He won 511 games, 3 no-hit and 1 perfect game in which no man reached first base. Denton T. Cy Young, his nickname was Cy, his real name was Denton. He was born on March 29, 1867 and died on November 4th, 1955. He was married to Robert Miller Young. She was born on August 29th, 1871 and died on January 25th, 1933. So he lived quite a bit after she did, as you can see. But he really had an impact on Major League Baseball. It was really becoming a thing in the early 1900s. He played from 1890 to 1911. He played for the team in Cleveland at the time, and he won a World Series with the Boston Red Sox. So it's cool how somebody born in Gilmore, Ohio, buried in Pelie, had a huge impact on Major League Baseball. And if you love baseball, I know, especially when I was young, I loved baseball, but you always hear the Cy Young Award, and obviously it takes his name because he was a great pitcher. Obviously they dedicated the Cy Young Award after Cy Young himself because he was a great pitcher. It's an honor for any pitcher to win that award. And he is buried here right in Tuscarawas County. It's a beautiful part of the country if you've never been here. Something cool to see, his cemetery right in Amish country. I just want to forewarn you though, don't come in the snow because they don't really plow the driveway around here, so it's hard to find a good place to park. Here is all the paraphernalia people have left on his gravesite. And then there's a baseball, which is well known, on the top of his tombstone with wings on it. It's more the size of a softball, as you can see my hand on it. But there's a flag here. It's pretty easy to find. It's right off of Route 258, about 12 miles off of Interstate 77, south of Canton, about 40 miles, I'd say. Hello, friends. It's kind of a miserable day out a little bit with the rain and snow makes precipitation. It's not raining hard, as you can tell, but I was just glad not to have to actually do a tour of a town today because I like to put my camera on the outside of the car. When you're doing a tour of a cemetery plot, somebody was buried at, like Cy Young or Mr. Rogers or George Johnson, Plasma Master Don, basically you don't really have to put your camera on the outside of the car to get a good view of the town because you're not doing a town, you're just doing a cemetery plot, which is, you don't have to drive as far, as much within the town. Now this one was like an hour and 20 minutes away, so you drove a little bit to just see it, but then you just park your car and go say some kind words about the person and get back in your car and drive away. So yeah, anyways, this one was a fun one. Major League Baseball player. Believe it or not, I used to play baseball. I used to pitch from time to time back in the day, back in Little League. I was from ages 7 to, I would say probably 10 or 11, so not very long. But I did pitch. I never heard of Cy Young. but I did want to play in the major leagues. You know, when reality hits, it's devastating, but it just builds humility. So I did actually play baseball at one point, so that's pretty cool.